My name is John Kreutzer, and I'm a Chief Warrant Officer in the United States Marine Corps. This summer, in 2022, I'm going to retire. Now that's awesome, that's exciting, but for most of us, retiring out of the military means finding another job, a second career perhaps. Now you may have spent 20 years in a particular occupation field like logistics or intelligence or the infantry. Some of those skills are going to transfer great into the exact same thing that you've been doing. And if that's what you're interested in, that's awesome, that's great, more power to you. But I am going to embark on an adventure. It is something I haven't necessarily done before, real estate. Now, I've got 5 really good reasons why this is the career field of my choice. Check them out. My first reason for choosing real estate as my second career is family. Looking over the past 5 years specifically, we moved in 2017, 2018, 2021, and we'll move again in 2022. That's 4 times in 5 years. That's a lot of moving. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for piano recitals, ballet classes, gymnastics competitions, whatever they get into. I don't want to be deployed. I don't want to be on an exercise. I want to be there for my family. In fact, my oldest daughter asked me, she said, "Daddy, when you become a real estate agent, are you going to have to deploy?" I kind of laughed, but she's got a point. My parents, well, nobody's getting any younger, and I want to be there for them too. I want my kids to be able to go to grandma's house anytime they want, bake cookies, whatever Nana's got in store for them. We're going to spend Christmas with my parents, Christmas with my brother, Thanksgivings, birthdays. Instead of having to fly out once a year or every 6 months, we're going to be able to do this on the regular. Now, in real estate, you set your own hours. Now, this sounds great, but if you don't work, you don't eat. So you have to kind of be a go-getter, you have to be a self-starter, and you've got to shoot, move, communicate, right? The other point is stability for my kids. Now, the DoD schools are great, but I don't want to have to move my kids every 3-4 years. I want them to be able to invest in the community that I'm going to invest into. I want them to have friends, lifelong friends, not friends they're going to have to FaceTime or text across the country. I want them to be able to invest in their school, in their community, in their future. Numero dos, Texas. Well, actually, it's location, location, location. My location being Texas. Now, much like nursing, in real estate, you can go anywhere. There's always going to be work, whether you're in a small town, a big city, East Coast, West Coast, Texas coast. You're going to find work because people are always moving, they're downsizing, they're upsizing, and they need a real estate agent to facilitate that. Now, if I were to continue doing what I do in the military as a civilian, either GS or government contractor, I'd probably find myself in the National Capital Region or the DC sprawl. Now, I've lived that life, I've sat in that traffic, no thanks. I'm going to Texas. A lot of people, they've done very well. A lot of guys I know have done very well in the National Capital Region, and it's just not for me. Additionally, there's a lot of controversy about what's being taught in U.S. schools today. By virtue of you being able to pick your location, you can pick where your kids go to school. So if you don't like what's being taught in a public school system, you can vote with your feet, pick up and leave and go where the situation's more amicable. Now, I want my kids to be able to invest long-term in a community. Much like myself, I want to be an active member of a church. I want to be an active member in the community. I don't want to have to pick up and move every 3 to 4 years or be gone 6 to 9 months out of the year on an exercise or deployment. I want to go somewhere that's going to afford certain opportunities for my kids, like softball or gymnastics or whatever they're into. I can make sure that that location provides for those needs. The other part about real estate is it's hyper local. So unless you're actively seeking a 30, 60, or 90-minute commute, you don't have to do that. My intent is to start working the neighborhood where I'm going to live in. I'm going to become an expert in that neighborhood before I even branch out. So I might be working from an office that's 15 minutes away. I might be working in my home office. You get to decide, and that's one of the great things about location. You get to pick it, and it's not going to be dictated. It's all up to you. Number 3, you're the boss. You work for yourself. I cannot take off my uniform, put on a coat and tie, and go work as a government servant or as a contractor. I've got to see what it's like. I got to see what it's like to be my own boss. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure this will echo throughout the military community as well, how many times you've looked at a ranking staff NCO or officer who's your supervisor, and you're like scratching your head like, why is this person in charge of me? They don't know left from right, up from down, and simply by virtue of time in service, time in grade, they outrank you. Real estate's going to afford you the opportunity to be your own boss. Now, the other side of that is you're going to need a mentor. You're going to need a coach. You're going to have to work with people, but ultimately you're not working for someone. Gone are the days of asking yourself, why am I working for this jackalope? Why am I not in charge? Because you're ultimately in charge. Now, there's great risk, but with great risk comes great reward. In the event you have a client that you don't necessarily want to work with, you can give them the Heisman. You can say, I think I know somebody who can better meet your needs. You pass that client off to someone else and you get a referral fee. You get paid to tell people, nah fam, you're gonna work with somebody who's a little better suited for you. Your personalities don't mesh or whatever the case may be, you're still gonna get paid, and that's pretty cool. Reason number 4, you keep what you kill. What do I mean by that? You keep what you kill. That sounds like super cool, maybe out of a movie, but it's true. In the real estate field, it's 100% commission based. So you don't get paid for doing this, for going on the Facebook, for swiping right or left, whatever the kids do these days. It's not going to get you money. You only get paid if you perform, and if you don't perform, you don't eat. Now, for those of us familiar with the military pay chart, we see that the absolute worst performing E7 in the military at 15 years probably makes the exact same as the best performing E7 in the military at 15 years. That's just virtue of the time in service, time in grade system, and promotion system of the military. Granted, there's special duty pay, there's jump pay, dive pay, hazardous duty pay, special duty assignment pay, bonuses for certain occupation fields. By and large, the worst performer of a certain grade gets paid the exact same as the best performer. So if you're excited about a performance-based job, a performance-based field, real estate might be right for you. Additionally, if you're leaving military service as a retiree, you've got a couple of good things going for you. You're going to draw a pension. You're going to get whatever disability the VA has allotted you, and you're going to keep your medical insurance. This is going to keep the bills paid while you find your way, find your stride in the real estate field, because talking to coaches, mentors, reading books, listening to podcasts, they all say you need 3 to 6 months to build your network, to build your book of business, and to find your stride. So as a military retiree with income, you're going to be able to do this without having to stress out about, are my kids going to eat? Is the mortgage going to get paid? You're going to be fine. It's going to take time to learn, but you've got it. I'm going to plead the 5th. My 5th reason for becoming a real estate agent. My 5th reason for becoming a real estate agent is the barrier of entry. If you're like me, you would love nothing more than to draw the salary of a highly successful surgeon or a highly successful lawyer. However, those barriers of entry are tall. We're talking med school, we're talking law school, bar exam, brain surgery exam. There's a lot involved in that. Many, many years, all while incurring an infinity of student debt that you're probably going to spend the rest of your life paying off. Take me, for instance. I was able to get licensed by the state of Texas as a real estate agent in about 8 weeks. From the time I ordered my books, enrolled in the online courses, and took the test, that's really about all that was required. I could have done it in 4. I could have stretched it out to 12 weeks. But this is something that you're going to do at your own pace. So depending on your level of motivation and your study habits, you can knock it out pretty quick. And you can do this before you even leave service. You can do this to figure out if this is even for you. I was out of pocket about $1,500 worth every penny, all while not having to draw from my GI Bill, which is something I'm going to give for my kids. So if you are not retiring out of the military, say you're leaving after 4, 8, 12, how many years of active duty service, and you need the benefits of the GI Bill, such as the stipend associated with that or the basic allowance for housing, there are ways, again, this is state dependent, that you can use your GI Bill while getting your real estate license and working your way through those courses. Check out your state requirement. I highly recommend it. If you're getting out of the military, you're going to buy a house somewhere. Pay the $1,500, get the license. At least you're not going to have to pay a full commission, to a buyer's agent or seller's agent. At least you can recoup some of that. So well worth the $1,500 investment, regardless of what you're going to do. And the barrier of entry is not up here. It's somewhere about here. Thanks for watching my video. I greatly appreciate it. It's my first of many. We talked about reasons to become a real estate agent. We talked about salary cap or lack thereof. We talked about barrier of entry. And hopefully you got some gears turning in y'all's heads. If you're interested in pursuing a career in real estate as a military retiree, or someone who's just leaving active duty service with 4, 8, however many years, feel free to connect with me on whatever media platform you're viewing this. I will respond. If I don't have the answer that you're looking for, I will point you in the right direction or find someone who can best answer that question. But again, thanks for your time, guys. It's been a very interesting journey for me. I'm sure it'll be much more interesting, and as it becomes more interesting, I'll post more interesting videos. Thanks again, and have a meritorious day. Semper Fidelis.